Hello there, welcome back to the Agostinho Zinga show with your host, Agostinho Zinga, and this is episode number 858. That is 858 of the Agostinho Zinga show, Ocho Cinco, Ocho, oh no, or whoever, is it Ocho? No, is it Ocho? Is it Ocho? I think it should be Ocho. Ocho is 8. But regardless, what's going on? Hope you're doing well wherever you may be. Hope you're doing well wherever you may be. How am I? All good, all things considered. I really cannot complain. Just got back from a decent little workout in the gymnasium. Unfortunately, I was one of those idiots in the gym who forgot my chalk the previous day, so I have to go buy some new chalk. I'm absolutely heartbroken and distraught about that. I'm not going to lie. Absolutely heartbroken and distraught that I have to now buy some more weightlifting chalk, because it's gone up in price, isn't it? It's gone up like £10. I think, if I'm not mistaken, last time I purchased it, it might have been like £15, because I buy these little balls of chalk that I used to kind of rub on my hands when I'm lifting and stuff. And before, in the past, they were like, I don't know, £10 for 2 bags. But now I'm pretty sure, let me just double check my thing. I'm pretty sure that the stuff that I ordered was for sure more than £20. Let me double check this. Was it over £20 or am I bugging out? Yeah, it's like it's what they call it. They call it what do they call it? They call it rock climbing chalk. Yeah, a pack of 2 is £10, and it's gone up, man. It's 5 and now it's 10. I'm annoyed. So it's gone up a fiver, and I ended up losing. Well, not losing. I left it in the gym. I left it on the floor in a Ziploc bag, like a nice Ziploc bag with a ball of chalk inside. So somebody probably saw that. I'm like, oh my god, my lucky day. Do you know what I mean? No one's gonna hand that in. No one's ever going to hand that in. I'm so fucking gutted. I went to the desk. I tried to see if somebody did hand it in, but no one did. So I have to then go buy a new ball of chalk. But hey, apart from that, not bad. I did actually lift without using the chalk. So that was nice to see that I can actually lift heavy barbells and heavy weights over my head without the assistance of chalk. I don't like wearing gloves because I think that looks very naff. People that wear gloves in the gym are almost like people that, you know, when they play computer games and you get like carpal tunnel and you have to wear one of those really like FAGGY flipping gloves, right? Those little hand wrist things. It looks super lame. So I'm not in the business of wearing gloves. So I'd rather get loads of calluses on my hands and stuff and have really gnarly, manly workman type hands than have really buttery soft hands because I wear gloves, or have the look of gloves. Because I hate, you know, you see the kind of guy in the gyms who has like the fingerless gloves and they're walking around like they're fucking Batman and shit. It's like, allow it. So I'd rather just, you know, raw dog it with some chalk, and it usually works pretty well. I may actually try. There is a liquid chalk, isn't it? I might try that. There's like, I see some guys using some liquid chalk. I'm not sure how it works, but you squeeze in your hand and it still gets the same chalk consistency. So I might actually give that a go, because that might be a little bit handy, because sometimes the chalk, it can get a bit messy, and I feel kind of bad sometimes when I get on the floor, because it's really hard for cleaners to get that shit off. Do you know what I mean? Because it kind of just doesn't, you know, it doesn't budge really, unless you probably jet wash it or something, and they're not going to jet wash that gym. So I think I might get the liquid one and see how that works out. But so far, not too bad. Still a pretty half-empty gym, I'm not going to lie, which isn't so surprised, to be fair. I shouldn't be too surprised, right, at the half-empty gym, but there still is a half-empty gym out there, and it's now, what, the 11th? We're on the 11th of January, and the gym is basically half-empty. No one's there. No one. And I'm going at all the best. I'm going at the times like before work. I'm going at the times just after work. I'm going during the weekend when everyone's meant to be there, and it's absolutely empty. Pretty gnarly. Pretty gnarly how empty the gyms are. But you know what? I get it. I completely get it. Apart from that, what's been happening with me? What else has been happening with me? What else has happened with me? What else happened with me that I can talk about? That's about it really, isn't it? Right? United are playing tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that. Man United playing tomorrow. Really excited about that. FA Cup game against Arsenal. That should be good. I'm actually going to go watch it in a pub, I think. I might go to a pub and watch that, so I can get the full experience and shit. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to that. Anyways, let's get on to the show. We've got so much to talk about, so much to get into. Let's not waste any more of your precious time. So, the number one topic that I want to talk about is something that has been really kind of rumbling through my head. Has been this amazing clip which features Demi Moore, Kylie Jenner, and Timothée Chalamet, or Chalamet, however you pronounce his name, at the Golden Globes. It's an amazing clip, right? Demi Moore rocks up to Timothée Chalamet behind him, and he's sitting next to Kylie Jenner, his date. And yeah, she just talks to Timothy the whole time, and not once does she make even a head turn to look at Kylie Jenner. She doesn't even once give her the courtesy of a head nod, of a little wry smile, nothing. She pays her absolute dust, and it's absolutely hilarious because it reminds me of a time when I went to Fold, the popular London club here, the Berghain of London, less per se, and I received a similar treatment from the founders of Fold, and I want to share that story with you. So let me play the clip so you can see what I mean, and then I'll tell you my very embarrassing, somewhat cringy story of my, you know, situation that kind of mirrors this very embarrassing situation that Kylie Jenner had herself in. Let's play the clip. So as you can see there, Demi Moore makes no effort to say hi to him. No effort, zero. Kylie Jenner's eyeing her many times, but she makes no effort to say hi. None. And it reminds me so much of my interaction I had with the founders of Fold. Now, it was my fault. Let me just start off saying that it was my fault, right? Because usually I'm not the expectation type of guy. Usually when I go into social interactions or when I'm out in general, I usually keep myself to myself. People that have seen me outside with know I'm not really the same chirpy, bubbly personality that I am online. At first, I kind of appear a bit cold. I kind of appear a bit, you know, angry black man. Maybe because of years of trauma and PTSD because of my ancestors being enslaved and being whipped and shit. Who knows? But I carry some of this anger with me when I'm on the street. So if I see you and I know you, I'm going to brighten up and I'm going to be super loud and, you know, gregarious and how I am online. But if I don't know you, you're going to meet a very dour, very cold, very kind of, you know, almost stoic type of individual. But there are times where I can fan out because I do kind of abide by the logic that if you like somebody or if you like something, you should make it clear. You should make it known, you know? You shouldn't be like shy about it. And I'm not shy about it. But unfortunately in the UK, we're also not the best place for unbridled love like that. You know, the UK we don't really fuck with that sort of stuff like that. In the UK, you kind of have to play it cool. You kind of have to chill. You can't really be, you know, you can't really be like that here. People don't really respond too well to it. Anyway, long story short, this was around the time when I was first sort of like speaking about Fold. And, you know, I could say hand on heart and, you know, without sounding like an absolute egomaniac, I was probably one of the first people to kind of speak about Fold online, I think, giving reviews, you know, basically I'm telling my impression of the club and stuff and basically talking about my experience. And I guess in my dumb mind, I thought because I was out here, you know, spreading the gospel of Fold London, that somehow these guys would, I don't know, respond differently to me in person. I don't know what I thought in my head. I don't know whether or not I thought I was entitled to a hello, a conversation, hey, I've seen your video, whatever I thought in my head, right, was fucking dumb. Because when I got into that green room and I was with some of these Fold founders who were in there, I think it might have been three. Actually, I tell a lie. Of the three people that I know who are involved in Fold, one guy did speak to me who was quite nice. I forgot his name. I wish I remember. I think his name is Seb or something. Is it Seb? I think it's Seb. He was really nice. The other two, not so much, which is understandable. But I did get the similar sort of treatment. So I was Kylie in this conversation, sitting there, and, you know, everybody kind of in the room acknowledged who I was type of thing, understanding, you know, oh shit, I've seen your videos about Fold. And then they came in and paid me complete dust. And I'm not going to lie. In that moment, my feelings were hurt. And in that moment, I may have said to myself silently, I'm never coming back to this club again. All right. These motherfuckers didn't say hi to me. They didn't acknowledge my presence. They talked to everybody else in this room apart from me. But then afterwards, I was like, you know what? What are you being done for? Like, what's this expectation? Like, what's this entitlement to a hello? What's this entitlement to a conversation? No one owes you jack shit, right? If you wanted a conversation, you could have gone up to him and said hi. Like, Kylie could have easily tapped Demi on the shoulder and got her attention, but she didn't want to because she felt a bit embarrassed, quite a bit shy. She wanted Demi Moore to make eye contact and to make it easier, right? You want them to make it easier by them making eye contact to you. But if you're that desperate for a hi or for an introduction or to say something, why don't you tap and say something? But she didn't. So it's kind of on you. And on my opinion, it was kind of on me too. I didn't go out of my way to introduce myself. And I feel like another person in that situation probably would have gone out of their way to say, hi, this is me. I'm not sure if you saw my video or what I do on social media or on YouTube. I've got this podcast to talk about clubbing, blah, blah. Someone else would have done that sort of thing, but I didn't because basically I'm too cool for school. And I feel like I don't need to do that sort of thing, which obviously is a bad thing because, you know, introducing yourself, networking, all that sort of stuff is the way that you succeed in this world. But I have to also be honest and say, in those type of situations, I do think it's also important to kind of act like you've been there before a little bit. So maybe being overly eager, as much as I think it's important to be eager and to be enthusiastic and to tell somebody that you love them if you're a fan of them. I'm a big fan of that because I feel like online, especially, we're all very quick to say what we don't like. Everyone, all of us, we all know what we don't like. We're all kind of passionate about things that we don't like, things that we don't like to see, blah, blah, blah. But if somebody asks you, hey, what do you like? Suddenly you're stuttering like fucking Flocker from No Jumper. That's not the way to be. So I don't mind giving people their flowers and, you know, licking their ass per se, because if I'm a fan of somebody, I'm a fan of you. But I also know in some situations, it doesn't always call for that. Kind of, you know, it doesn't, you have to kind of judge every situation, every scenario as it is individually, as opposed to having a blanket approach to everything. And in some situations, who knows, maybe they just didn't see you. It could be as simple as that. You might think the world revolves around you, but maybe they just did not even notice you. You know, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe they didn't have a plan to talk to you then. They want to talk to you later, away from the cameras. They just want to say quickly hi to a fellow colleague. You know, somebody maybe that they've known since they were young, whatever it may be. I think that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But it is really, really embarrassing when it happens, because there's always a reminder of how far you are on the totem pole, or where you are on the totem pole. So even in Kylie's case, it's probably worse, because I think in Kylie's case it's worse because she's really famous, right? Kylie Jenner is really, really famous. So when you're that famous, you rarely have moments of humility. There's very rarely moments where people don't bend over backwards to accommodate you, especially in America, right? I think a lot of these celebrities, when they come to Europe, they have a dose of reality, especially when they go to Paris Fashion Week. They get subjected to French, you know, manners, French behavior, French conduct and stuff. And it's a big eye-opener that they don't get, you know, the red carpet treatment everywhere they go. But normally in North America and other places they go around the world, they get everything given to them, hand on feet, whatever, right? People bending down, do everything, basically putting their bodies online for them to walk over. But in some situations, it is good for the psyche, for the mental, for the ego, to be reminded that, hey, there are people who are legitimately in their heads bigger than you. Maybe in real life, I don't know if Demi Moore is really a bigger celebrity than Kylie, I don't know. But let's just say, like, there's levels to this shit. And sometimes it's good to be reminded of that so that you keep yourself in somewhat check. But I did find it utterly hilarious, because, like I said, it legit reminded me of that really cringy experience I had in Fold, where I legitimately thought, you know, those guys were going to say hi, or, you know, they were going to be nice, and it didn't really work out that way. But I'm also a big believer in that. I think it's important to treat places like that, or treat people in places, sometimes have a bit of separation. Like, I'm not a big fan of like meeting your heroes. So as much as I love that club, much as I love what they've done over there, there is a future that I see, however far-fetched it is, that I'll eventually open up my own club. And the idea about opening up my own club is that so I can actually kill them, do you know what I mean, and be like the best one here in London per se. And there's also this idea of like, I love the club anyway, I don't really want to meet them, do you know what I mean? I'd rather just enjoy the club for what it is. And to be completely honest, when I was in there anyway, the growing room, don't get me wrong, it's nice to be there. It's nice to get the first invite. I think I've been in there twice, once with an invite, once, you know, I stole someone's wristband. Or no, once I got an invite, once I got given a wristband, and once I slipped in without, when the security guard wasn't looking. But the thing about being in the green rooms is that when you are in there, right, the main thing when you are in there is this. It's a reminder and an eye opener of just how bleak it is, those type of places. You think there's a place to be, you think everybody's there, I should be there. It's not that fun, I guarantee you. The fun is actually on the dance floor. Honestly, the fun is on the dance floor. The green rooms are horrible, because what I saw when I went in there was just people who left their house to go to a club, not to club, but to go and sit in the room behind the DJ booth and just do loads of drugs. Not that fun. You hear the music coming through the muffled walls because there's great sound insulation and stuff at Fold, so the music rarely bleeds, but you hear it muffling through the walls, so it's not really a good sound system. You don't really hear it properly. So it's a bit terrible to me personally. And they don't really let randoms stand behind the booth, which I like. They kind of adopt the Berghain approach where only people who are playing are allowed behind the booth, from what I remember about Fold. So it's not like you can even stand there in the VIP area. You're just kind of, you know, it's a bit dead in my personal opinion. So it was quite depressing to be in there and have people, you know, number one, the conversation is horrible. The chat, the gossip is just, you know, industry, catty, hating type of stuff, which is, you know, it's not really that fun to talk about, to be honest. Might be okay to see on Instagram, on the comments and in posts, but you don't really want to be surrounded by it. And just people doing drugs all day. It's like, I don't know, I came here to see a DJ perform. I came here to kind of dance. I don't really want to stand or sit here and have people do racking up lines around me. You know, it's not really that fun. You know, if you could do that, you just do it at home somewhere. Why are you going to do it in the club? But you have to go there first, because I'm saying this now as somebody who has been experienced of going in these rooms myself personally a few times, and it's easy for me to say that because I've been in it. Once you've been in it, you'll see. But it definitely isn't as good as you think it is. Especially when you go in there and you see some of your heroes and they're like, you know, weird and scatty and shit. It's not the greatest. Like, I remember when I was actually in Fabric once, I saw Miss Kitten in the green room, and she didn't look like she wanted to see fans or anything. That was funny, which is understandable, right? Because, you know, whatever was happening in there, and it kind of ruined the experience for me again, because she was, you know, she kept looking at me like I was a feds or something. But I got why she was apprehensive, because she kind of thought it would be like a private area, and here's me, a randoms, and some other randoms there. It kind of felt like, oh my god, someone might notice what I'm doing, and da 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 da. But, you know, I kept it cute. I kept it cute and acted like I didn't see nothing, and slyly kind of walked out anyway to maybe make her feel more comfortable. But yeah, it's not the greatest place to be. I'm not gonna lie. It is kind of depressing to see all these people who kind of, you know, don't ever go home and are out all the time. You know, trying to share like a gram of a baggie of fucking ketamine between like 6 people. It's pretty bleak. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty bleak. So stay on the dance floors. Forget about the green rooms. Don't worry if you get the cold shoulder by some celebrity or some person that's well known. You know, it usually isn't as big as a deal as you think it is. Maybe it's not even that personal. Maybe they truly didn't see you. Maybe that's not the time they went to have a conversation with you in the first place. It is what it is. If you really want to have a conversation with them, put your ego and pride to one side, say hi to them first. But sometimes it is good to be reminded just where you are on the totem pole. It is good to be reminded just where you are, so you know how far you have to go. It's not that deep. It is not that deep. Okay, cool. But what do I know? Absolutely nothing. Talking about clubs, talking about going out, and talking about partying. This is my 9/11. This is my 9/11. Advice sought on upgrading ketamine to a Class A, courtesy of BBC News. I repeat, advice sought on upgrading ketamine to a Class A drug. This is my 9/11. Heartbreaking news. Absolutely heartbreaking news. I swear to God. What are they doing, man? What are they doing? What are they doing here? What are weed doing here? In the words of Brendan Shaw. Absolutely crazy. Let's read this article, man. Ugh. You're not allowed to have any fun in this world, and you can't have any flipping fun. Let's just read the article. Ketamine can be upgraded to a Class A drug as the government seeks expert advice on its classification, the Home Office has said. Illegal use of the drug has reached record levels. Record levels in recent years. Yo, people are going absolutely crazy. So it's not only me, it's other folks. Allegedly. Allegedly it's not me. Allegedly it's other folks. I'm not snitching. Allegedly it's other people who I don't know. With an estimated 269 people aged between 16 and 19 reporting ketamine use in the year end of March 2024. So imagine, these are the dorks, right? 269,000 dorks actually responded and reported, oh, I'm doing ketamine this year. Imagine all the people that don't report. Increasing ketamine's classification would bring in line with drugs including cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, and mean up to a life in prison for supply and production. That is insane, yo. Imagine getting life in prison for ketamine. Imagine getting life in prison for shards. Imagine getting life in prison for flipping shards. Nah, this is a little crazy. Policing minister will ask the advisory council on the misuse of drugs whether its classification should be changed and carefully consider its findings. Ketamine can cause serious health problems, including irreversible damage to the bladder and kidneys. We don't care about all that. It's also one of the most detected drugs in spiking. We don't care about all that. Look after your drink. While commonly used on animals in healthcare settings, ketamine can also be thought as a party drug due to its hallucinogenic effects. That's the one. It's probably the #1 rimming drug in the world. It's so easy to get right. It's so easy to get wrong. So easy to get wrong. You fuck around with ketamine, you will soon find out. You take too much and you will be thinking you're on some other planet. You have to be very, 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 very careful. Allegedly. An estimated 299 people aged between 16 and 59 reported ketamine use in the year ending March 2023. Ketamine was upgraded to Class C substance in 2014 due to monitoring evidence of its physical and psychological dangers. Currently, the maximum penalty for producing and supplying ketamine is 14 years. Possession could carry up to 5 years in prison or an unlimited fine, or both. Should it be upgraded to a Class A drug, supply and production of it could carry a life sentence, while possession could carry up to 7 years in prison and an unlimited fine, or both. A coroner's prevention of future deaths report called for action over the drug's classification after a man died from sepsis caused by kidney infection that was as complication of a long-term use of ketamine. That's what it is, though. You don't get nothing for free, bro. The guy probably had a great time during his time doing it, and in the end, his fucking kidneys failed. Oh well, that's what happens, bro. Basically, if you want to be fit and healthy and live a long life, just don't do any drugs. Don't do anything. Don't have any vices. But what's the point of living if you don't have any vices? So, obviously, do them in moderation. But if you don't do them in moderation, you're also aware that you're probably going to die early. You're probably going to have health complications. That is it. No government controls, no legislations, no bannings, no increasing of penalties, no classifications can stop people from getting fucked up. It's not going to stop. It never will stop, especially nowadays. Greater Manchester South Senior Coroner Alison Much noted that James Bollard, 38, started taking the drug as believed it was less harmful than Class A's. She wrote in November, yeah, but this person's a bit of an idiot, right? Whoever this person died, RIP to you, James Bollard or James Boland, RIP to you. But he was probably the type of person who thought it's less harmful than Class A's, but he was also doing it at the same level he was doing Class A's. So if you're doing that shit every day, of course it's going to damage you. Like, there's no such thing as like no damage. Like, you could probably hurt yourself drinking too much water. Like, there's always going to be a damage to overdoing anything. She wrote in November, maintaining its Class B classification will likely encourage others to start using it or to continue to use it under the false impression it's safer. No one's using ketamine because it's safer, honestly. I swear most people use it because it's just cheap and you get better bang for a buck. Like, maybe it's not as steamy as coke, maybe it's not as like maybe the hangovers aren't as brutal as MDMA, and it's cheaper. Like, no one does it because they think it's safer. That's a misnomer. They're chatting out their ass here. Police Minister Dame Diane Johnson, who's pledged to work across health and policing and wider public services to drive down drug use and to stop those profit from its supply. It's vital that we are responding to the latest evidence and advice to ensure people's safety, and we will carefully consider the ACMD's recommendations before making any decision. In my personal opinion, I think this is stupid. Because I feel like nowadays, more than anything, right? I think more than anything nowadays, I think most of us have realized that we really don't have any glitzy, glamorous future. There's nothing promised to us at the end of the rainbow. We'll just have to make do with what we have at the moment, or make do of the situation. You know, make the best out of the situation given to us at the moment. And for some of us, if you don't have much to look forward to, your future's looking a bit bleak, you're kind of going through the same old, sometimes being able to kind of tap out and take some drugs or whatever, drink or whatever vice that you need is one of the only highlights you have in life, really and truly. Maybe the only highlight. Now, the older I get, the more I'm understanding those guys who go to the pub every day. The more older I get, the more I'm understanding of, I remember kids I used to grow up with who used to go like to gigs every fucking weekend. They go to a different gig, they have their whole arm full of fucking wristbands. Now I'm getting it. The older I'm getting, the more I'm understanding people who go on hikes, people that go to fucking dart tournaments, that play snooker all the time. Because sometimes, you know, especially the older you get, you don't really have many friends anyway. You don't really have much to do. Your life becomes a bit mundane and boring. It just becomes the same cycle of, you know, commuting to work, doing your work, getting back to work, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes having that little fun bit at the side can be quite important. So this reclassification for most people isn't going to stop them using it. If anything, it's just going to punish regular people who just want to get high. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think so. In moderation. You just have to know what your moderation is. Unfortunately, in this particular country, we're not the best, you know, probably the best person to judge, because unfortunately we do everything to excess. We're just not able to kind of do anything in moderation, even from drinking beer. But I do think adults should be allowed to do whatever they want in that case. I don't think the government should be trying to control or penalize certain things in order to put you off from doing it. Just allow people to do it in a safe way. Make sure that the products they get in are actually safe. And then people can decide what they want to do. And you know what the risks are. Nothing is risk-free. You know what the risks are. There's no such thing as a risk-free drug. The only way to live risk-free when it comes to drugs is just to not do them. completely. Abstain for everything completely. But who would want to live a life like that? Who'd want to live a life where you're abstaining from absolutely everything? You can't even have a fucking cocktail on your birthday, or like, do you know what I mean? It's like, allow it. So if that's the case, then I'm not for it. This idea that people are overdoing it again, I think it's a user error. I don't think that's to do with the drug personally. I think people that it's like people who are ending up like paralyzed from doing too many balloons. You're the idiot. Yes, maybe the balloons are easier to get and they're too easy to get for some people. But if you're dumb enough to take so much helium that you're causing your brain to shut down and then to lose a feeling in your legs and you have to use a wheelchair, you're always going to end up in a wheelchair anyway. At some point, you're just an idiot, you know? It just is what it is. So I'm not going to blame the drug for that. I'm going to blame you for being a dummy that got behind the wheel while you were, inhaling helium, doing a line and smoking weed. What do you expect there to happen? Now you've taken out you took out a whole family. Like that kid in America who kind of was driving high or something and he was speeding 150 miles per hour and he crashed into a pickup truck full of construction guys and he killed them all, 5 of them. You have to blame yourself there. You can't blame the drugs, you can't blame the car, you can't blame anything. You have to blame yourself for making poor decisions. So I feel like in this particular case, again, there's less onus put in on the person and more onus put in on the drug itself, which I think is really dumb. And if anything, ain't going to stop people from using it. Allegedly. That's what I've heard. It's not going to stop anyone from using it. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Continuing on. Yo, prayers and thoughts go out to fucking Young Philly, man. Prayers and thoughts go out to Young Philly. He is fucking going through it. I saw this post courtesy of Shade Room, or Shade Borough, sorry, but I went to see the actual whole article because there's a really, really sad video where he kind of looks, he really looks like he's going through it. And the journalist is really trying super hard to get him to say something. And luckily he doesn't say anything. But this is an article courtesy of the Western Australian. More issues for Young Philly on top of the rape thing that he's going through at the moment. It says here, Young Philly accused rapist learns fate after being charged with hooning, which I guess is speeding. Let's read the article here courtesy of the Western Australian. It says UK rapper, I would say he's more of a content creator than a rapper, to be fair. UK rapper Young Philly has copped up a $1,000 fine and a 6-month driving ban after admitting to hooning while on bail for rape charges in Perth, telling police he was speeding because he needed to get home to his sick mother. The internet personality, whose real name is Andres Felipe Valencia Barrientos, was caught on a speed camera driving an Isuzu MUX at 158 kilometers an hour in a 100 kilometer hour zone on the Roe Highway in High Wycombe in November 17th. Barrientos is now facing allegations he raped a woman in Hillary's hotel room after a gig up bar in September and is forced to stay in WA as part of his death bail conditions. So allegedly, he is going to be staying in Australia. I think I saw an article that he might be there for 2 years or something before even the trial starts. Wild. I guess until the trial commences, I guess. So there he is there. He looks, looks a bit worse for wear. It doesn't look like he's getting much of a beard. I don't know what the beard is all about. It looks like he is shaving. Maybe is he getting haircuts? I think that looks like he might have got a shape up recently, but he looks a bit worse for wear. Let's just say that. He was sentenced in Perth Magistrates Court on Thursday after pleading guilty for reckless driving. His lawyer, Joanne Oliver, told the court that Barrientos told the police his reason for speeding was because his mother wanted him home and she was not ill. So his mum is flown out to Australia to be with him. That's when you know. That's when you know who your real friends are, isn't it? He's going through this rape case. Obviously, if he's guilty, he brought it upon himself, so he has no one to blame. But there was a time where he was surrounded by people. Everyone in his DMs trying to get guest lists of stuff. Everyone trying to get connects to things. Hey, do you know this person? Introduce me here, introduce me there. People asking for money, blah, 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 blah. And now look. He's out there in Australia. And the only person who's probably out there as a friend to support him is his mum, his family. All those friends, all those hangers-on, all those clout chasers, nowhere to be found. It continues here. The court was told that he made an admission to officers at the same time he was reporting bail on sex offence charges. Sentencing Barrientos, Magistrate Andrew Winter cited the UK national pled to the reckless driving offence at his earliest opportunity and that it was his first driving offence in Australia. He was fined $1,000 in order to pay the court $300. His driving license was also disqualified for 6 months. Yo, Australia, they don't play in it. His first driving offence, he's speeding he went over 58 kilometers an hour in a 100 kilometer hour speed zone, right? He was driving 158 and the limit is 100. So he was only 58 kilometers above. Again, I know it's a lot, but still. His first driving offense, he's in a foreign country and he gets given a $1,000 fine as well as having to pay court fees of $300.50. And he's also disqualified from driving in Australia for 6 months. Australia, they do not play. Australia does not play, bro. The YouTuber rapper who wore a khaki Goya Belvedere satchel across his shoulder, worth at least $6,000. Look at him, man. He looks rough, bro. It's completely like changed the physical makeup of his face, isn't it? It kind of reminds of Chris D'Elia, because I always thought, like, don't get me wrong, Chris D'Elia was never fucking Brad Pitt or anything, or George Clooney. But there was a time when Chris D'Elia actually did look quote unquote handsome at one point. And then as soon as those allegations came out of him being a diddler, he just looks the way he looks now at the moment, kind of ghoulish, right? And I guess that's what stress does. Maybe guilt, maybe all the screams of, allegedly all the underage children that Chris D'Elia has maybe done something to back in the day, in the background. But that's what stress actually does to you. It kind of can change the whole, your whole features. It makes you instantly look older. He just looks like he's wearing all the stress on his face, all the worry, all the anxiety. God damn it. When asked by the West Australian whether his mother had travelled to Perth to support him, young Philly did not respond. He left court in a blacked out van. Young Philly is required to report to Madura police station 3 days a week. That's so excessive, isn't it? Isn't that a bit excessive? He has to report to the police station 3 days. So 3 days a week he has to go through this like walk of shame thing. This is why, like, I know it sounds weird, but even if he's found not guilty, imagine if he's found not guilty, because this could happen, right? Rape cases are notoriously hard to fucking convict on and stuff, because it turns into a he said she said thing. It's kind of depressing how low the conviction rate is on rapes. So let's say there is a scenario where he gets off. I think part of him getting off, if he does get off, he still has been punished, because he's never going to have a career again to the level he had it before. And he had to go through this walk of shame, this perp walk essentially, 3 times a week in a foreign country. And he has to live there by force, by the way. So he's in this paradise, right? Australia, amazing fucking weather, amazing location. I've heard the people there are fucking amazing and shit. But you're in this like golden handcuffs. You're in a golden cell because you can't really leave. They've confiscated your passport and now they took away your driving license. So all your independence is gone. You can't leave the country. They've taken your passport and now they've taken your driving license, so you can't even, drive yourself around the country. You have to get Ubers everywhere. Independence gone. So if he does get found not guilty, this is part of the punishment. Essentially he's been punished already, because his career is never going to come back again. He's never going to be what he was prior. And he spent 2.5 years out in another country fighting these charges and having to do this perp walk 3 times a week. Brutal. The strict reporting requirements had been part of the bail conditions imposed in October, which included deciding on $100,000 personal undertaking and $100,000 security from the WA residents. I wonder if the punishment he got for the 6-month driving license ban and the $1,000 he had to pay was in part because of the bail. I wonder if the judge was a bit pissed. Like, hey, you're on fucking bail for rape, mate. Why are you speeding? Why are you committing any type of crime? Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if you forgot to pay for a fucking Kinder Bueno in a store. Why are you committing any crimes? You're already in deep shit. You should be keeping your head proper out of view. Keeping your head down, chilling. Why are you speeding in the first place, Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. He's still facing the 8 other alleged offences linked to the alleged sex assault, including sexual penetration without consent. Imagine having that on your jacket. It's bad enough that you have rape on your jacket, but imagine having that actual charge on your jacket. Sexual penetration without consent. That is a nightmare, man. Just end it. End it now, man. End it now, please. End it now. Like, what? That's on your jacket? No, thank you. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. Assaulting occasioning bodily harm, impeding a person's normal breathing, which is even fucking worse, I think. God almighty. Impeding a person's normal breathing or circulation by applying pressure on the neck. These are the offences that he's been charged with. Jesus. Young Philly has not yet entered a plea or made public statement on the charges. Young Philly's WA show on September 27 marked the first of his Australian tour, which included shows in Melbourne, Sydney and Gold Coast. But that came to an end when he was extradited to WA on October the 9th. Days after allegations were aired, major sponsorship deals have been axed as brands try to distance themselves. Brands such as Foot Asylum, the Football Association, Heinz, ASOS, just a handful, have severed ties with the rapper. Could you imagine the amount of peas he was getting from those companies? Foot Asylum, the Football Association, the FA, Heinz, and ASOS. Could you imagine the bags? And now they're all gone because of one moment. It takes a whole lifetime to build a career and one moment to ruin it. The 29-year-old has 1.28 million subscribers on YouTube and 33 million followers on Instagram. I'm curious to see how this pans out, man. I'm curious to see what type of evidence they have against him. I'm curious to see how he's going to plead, how he's going to defend himself. I'm curious to see if he actually does get off of this. I'm curious to see how everything pans out, because this seems like such a wild thing, man. Guy went to another country on tour and decided rape was the best decision to do. Absolutely insane. So let's actually check the video. This video is even worse, actually, because one of the journalists who sees him outside the court tries to basically rile him up and tries to get him to say something and do something and be a bit crazy. And luckily he keeps his composure, because that could have been easily another case, another charge on top of all the charges he already has. So let's scroll down. Where is the video? There's a video here where he's walking out of prison and walking out of the police station, and a journalist tries to rattle him and get him to say something that he shouldn't be saying, and luckily he doesn't say it. I think the Shade Bro have a post of it here somewhere. Let me scroll down. Where see if I can find it. Bear with me 1 second here. Bada bing, bada boom. It should be somewhere. Where is it? I think it's here. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's not here. Or did I miss it? Did I miss it? I think I might have missed it. Boom, Fish Bosch. Where is it? I thought I had it. Oh, there it is. There. This is the one.
Young Philly, disqualified license for 6 months. Did you want to say anything? How's your mum doing? Is she okay? She fly over to Perth to be here?
Yes, sorry. How's your mum doing? Is she okay? Is absolutely crying. How did your mum doing? Is she okay, man? Don't get me wrong, he only said that because now I read the article. At first, when I didn't read the article, it sounded kind of callous and classless, and it kind of sounded like he was trying to purposely provoke him. But having read the article, that question does make sense, because he did tell the police the reason why he was speeding was because he was racing back home to help his mum who was sick, which is already crazy, right? Because you're imagining, like, because he's from, what is he from? He's South American background, right? Colombian or something. So let's just say he's black, whatever, Colombian, Latino, whatever, Hispanic, right? You can imagine his mum's very emotional, like all mums from that part of the world. So she's taking these charges personally. It's affecting her like as if she was getting charged for rape. You know what I mean? So she's taking it all personally. It's probably fucking with her mental, fucking with her emotions, and she's now in a bad state. So can you imagine how bad young Philly must be feeling? He took his mum out of his mum came to his country, probably not that much. He became who he was super successful, helped his family, get from poverty to something. And now he's causing his mum one of the biggest heartaches and heart pains and distresses she's ever been through. He must feel so bad. He probably feels worse about what he's doing to his mum than about the thing he's been alleged of. Probably. Because he's there alone with her. Do you know what I mean? She's like, I can't believe you did this, my son. I can't believe it. Did you do it? Constant crying, screaming, wailing. Oh, I never understand why people do that anyway. Like, you do this type of dirt and then you run to your mum. Like, handle it yourself like a man, bro. Don't put your family through this. The same thing happened to fucking Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett lied about that fucking assault thing that happened to him, right? That alleged racist incident. And then suddenly you're bringing your parents and your other family to the court with you to stand beside you and shit. When you bold-faced lied. Like, don't put your family through this. Like, just handle it yourself like a man. Don't get me wrong. He is there by himself, which is also tragic in that sense, because you always saw young Philly with people surrounded by, sycophant fans or surrounded by other clout chasers and other celebrities. But now he's out here by himself in a foreign country, getting in a whip by himself. Like, no one else is there. No lawyer, no nothing, just him by himself. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it plays out. This is a crazy clip, innit? Look at this fucking clip. Courtesy of No Jumper, courtesy of Akademiks TV. Akademiks told Adam22 and Wack 100 that he got on the phone with 6ix9ine while I was in jail, and 6ix9ine put him on the phone with Diddy because allegedly Diddy, 6ix9ine, and what's his name, Luigi Mangione, the guy that killed the United Healthcare CEO, they're all in the same prison. Absolutely wild times we're living in. Absolutely wild times we're living in. Let's play the clip.
Hey, I'll give another Wack and Adam show exclusive.
Okay, we need that.
May or may have not spoken to Diddy, and he brought that exactly up the moment I spoke to him. And you won't even know who put us on the phone.
6ix9ine?
Boy, 6ix9ine.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy.
Yo, he put you on the phone while he was in there?
Hey, you know, well,
I know they should have been in the same area.
No. Yo, that shit was so crazy. The nigga called me, and he was just like, yo, Ack, everything good? Like, he's locked up. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. How you? I'm like, yo, bro, you doing dumb shit. You got to stop, blah, blah. You know, I try to ream him out real quick. And then he like, yo, bro. He's like, yo, you ever talk to Diddy? I'm like, nah, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I swear, this was the craziest thing ever. He says, yo, you want to talk to him? I'm like, nah, I'm down to talk to him. I swear, 6 says, yo, Diddy, come here. Promise you. Yo, 2 seconds, he walks over and be like, yo, what up, Playboy? I couldn't believe it.
Wow. That's crazy to meet somebody who's such an icon at the lowest point that they'll ever be at in their entire life. Probably.
Diddy be all right. He coming home.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You said
Diddy coming home.
By the way,
Diddy coming home.
I won't get into too much of that convo because, by the way, I think if he ever gets out, 6, and this is the great thing about 6ix9ine, like, not only was he super encouraging, at least in the mental space where Diddy was, when I got on the phone with Diddy says, yo, I'm going to see you when I get out. And I was like, I couldn't tell. I didn't know what to take that. I'm like, huh?
Crazy, right? Pretty flipping crazy. Diddy and 6ix9ine in the same freaking jail. You could imagine if you're 6ix9ine, your luck has probably improved because you're probably like, you know what? Now I'm going to line myself with this guy. I'm going to line myself with Diddy because you're most likely, if he does end up getting out, he could probably help you in your career-wise. You know, extend your little, 5 minutes or 15 minutes of fame that he's had, and maybe help him with making some tunes. With Diddy, it's an incredible fall from grace to be summoned in the prison by 6ix9ine. Like, hey, come here. Someone's on the phone for you. Is kind of a sonage, so that's kind of a bit weird. But wow, what an incredible fall from grace. I can just imagine what that prison must be like, surrounded by these type of people in there. Absolutely wild. But I feel like in America, these sort of prison sentences don't actually mean anything. It kind of feels like a time for you to kind of get healthy, get right, get fit, get your mind right. And then when you come out, you're basically lit anyway. They don't really treat prison as like a final death sentence. You know what I mean? It's usually like a bit of a stripe on your collar. I think in this country, if you went to prison or for the things that Diddy and 6ix9ine have been accused of, your career probably might be over. Over there, it feels like you can use it as another launching pad. It's part of the promo run. You know, it's another bit of content that you could kind of use, or another content topic you could kind of use for stuff that you do. It doesn't really feel like a nail in the coffin at all. Zero. So I could see a scenario where Diddy does get off on what he's been accused of, which just seems unlikely, and does make a pretty normal, seamless return back to music. A blight with not all the big corporate sponsors and shit, but he could easily do it. Easily do it. I think so. America just seems like a place where people kind of open to that. And I think a lot of his fans wouldn't really care, They'll be able to separate the music from the person, probably. I think so. But hey, what do I know? Absolutely nothing. Okay, let's talk about something that I am really interested to talk about. So, this is pretty crazy, right? Because this makes me now understand why a lot of artists are so hesitant to go on interviews, because it seems like people don't really listen. It seems like people don't really use their common sense in things. It seems really strange. So the reason I'm saying this is because of this. So as some of you guys know, Drake put out this freestyle, which I thought was really good, where he basically talks about, what happened post, I guess, Kendrick battle. And most of the freestyle is kind of aimed at the people who switched up on him and kind of, were taking Kendrick's side during the battle. And I guess for Drake, and I think this is easy to kind of surmise, he probably feels as if the people that took Kendrick's side were disloyal because that battle wasn't just a battle. They clearly don't like each other. Kendrick hates Drake, Drake hates Kendrick. There's real like animosity between them. So much so I think if either teams were to walk by each other or be in the same vicinity, shit would go off. You know what I mean? Like shots were fired outside of his crib, for goodness sake. You know what I mean? People really don't like each other in either camp. So it's not just a battle like, you know, testing out your lyrics. It is an actual beef. So for him to see certain people that he thought were friends dancing and jumping to a song that Kendrick made, you know, calling him things or whatever it may be, was pretty heartbreaking. You'd imagine for him. Now, I don't think it probably has to do a lot with the PDF thing. Maybe the PDF thing is important. I just think the fact that they were celebrating and dancing to Kendrick's songs will probably hurt, I'd assume. Which is kind of understandable to see, to understand. You don't have to agree with it. You can still think he's pussy, you can still think he lost, whatever. But it's understandable why it's pretty easy to understand why Drake wouldn't be happy with his friends dancing to Kendrick's songs during that battle. It's just easy to understand that, right? Especially the ones that directly aimed at him and saying mean things about him and shit, right? And, you know, allegations, you can understand why. But it seems like most people never ever thought of it. They never thought about how heartbreaking it could be for somebody who sees somebody as a friend and a brother to see them dancing to a song like that. They don't see it until Drake said it himself. Until Drake said it in the bar, in the tune that he put out, right? No one ever thought, oh shit, actually, it is kind of weird, because I didn't see these articles. Like this is a trending topic on Twitter. The headline is LeBron James loyalty questioned amid Drake friendship. I didn't ever see these conversations on these titles ever come up during the battle. Or when the battle was happening, and you know, and LeBron was at the show and doing all this sort of stuff and whatever and ramming. I didn't see this, which is really strange. Again, you don't have to agree. You can call fucking Drake emotional. You can call him a bitch, a baby, whatever, a Karen for doing a lawsuit. You're within your right to say that, but it just seems very strange how no one ever had thought, oh yeah, it is true that LeBron James was acting a bit weird. It's a bit funny style to be like super TDE during this beef when you and Drake are meant to be like brothers. You know, that's it. It didn't have to be. It's not. You don't have to kind of explain it more than that. It just seemed a bit strange. So now that Drake put out this tune, which I'm gonna play, everyone kind of understands it. But I felt like the tune he didn't even need to put out the tune for you to get that, really. But I guess now he said it himself on the tune, people are understanding it a bit more. But this is a song, in case you've not heard it, this is a song, it's called Fighting Irish Freestyle. It's a leak, actually. So I'm not too sure if it's actually officially ever going to come out. But it is a really good song, personally. It's made by Conductor, and I feel like he's spitting on the entire thing. But because of this song, now everybody's looking at LeBron a bit differently. But also because of this song, Drake is also now weirdly playing a role in exposing LeBron James' infidelity, which I really don't like. So this whole record is kind of brought about some unnecessary drama that also includes DJ Akademiks, which I think is incredibly lame. And if anything, makes Akademiks look super, super, super lame. Because I think, you know, if I'm being fair, I think Drake kind of started this, because he's the one that got into the DMs with that guy, that fashion designer who was trying to get Drake to post a video about him snitching on whatever, that Stephon Diggs guy. And in that DM, Drake was making an analogy. Oh, this is like if Nike funded the camp. It's like, bro, why are you talking about LeBron's like thing, you know, to some random guy like you don't even know that was? It's like, God Almighty. So now this whole tune has unearthed this whole other bit of drama that's really unnecessary. But I'm just surprised that he had to say what he had to say for people to understand that he might feel a bit bad and hurt that LeBron was dancing on certain tunes. But regardless, let's play the tune.
I'm recording.
I love you.
Yeah, the summer is over, I missed it. Barrel was smoking, I kissed it. Fair showed us the rent is for Texas, it's unrealistic. Cut him the check, cause I hate reviewing the budgets and limits. Just pay the man. The world fell in love with the gimmicks. Even my brothers got tickets. Seemed like they loved every minute. Just know the shit is personal to us and it wasn't just business. Analyzing behavioral patterns is someone suspicious. Niggas was never happy for me when I run up the digits. Or when I'm breaking world records still as I guzzle a Guinness. Or when I get my fifth made back cause the color is different. Remember we traded watches. I gave you the Arabic dial. You gave me a numbered edition. You would even check up on my son like a pediatrician. Sure convinced the gang that shit was rooted in love when it isn't. Show me how different we are, there's blessings in juxtaposition. I guess now you boys gotta abandon your summer tradition. Cold shoulders I gave in the Hamptons, it come with the distance. Figured we was always gonna be close like ovens and kitchens. I was sadly mistaken, the loyalty wasn't a given. It's all good. And niggas cry the blues for you saying it wasn't malicious. Talking about we family, well I'm not the cousin to visit. God forbid we ever gotta tarnish your public image. All that brother talk as if I really discovered a sibling. 6 degrees, my memories retrieving our humble beginnings. Niggas wanted trouble, grabbed a shovel and dug up some ditches. Cover my body in dirt, but that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was a body double and we've done dozens of switches. Niggas tried to light the front gate up, it wasn't for Christmas. I said a prayer that morning for Sean and it wasn't religious. It came from a place of desperation and utter submission. Rapping was over for now, it came like a sudden decision. I don't give a fuck about you snakes or these other musicians. Niggas started fucking with my family, I'm going to prison. And we all crashing out together, my brother's complicit. Who put a pipe bomb in your trunk? It wasn't exhibit. I'm trying to blow the doors off that bitch when you touch the ignition. But then I gotta remember who made this shit come to fruition. It's me. Who's got the most to lose and who's in that other position? Signal conversations where I hope they got double encryption. I hate to see the empire crumble on judges' convictions. This nigga pulled a rabbit out the hat and y'all love a magician. It's funny to see you all rejoicing and hugging and kissing. What are we celebrating? I'll rent out the club at Edition. Nothing was the same with all you bitches and nothing's forgiven. But next time, bury me in gold. My blood is Egyptian. The Dennis James come out when the vodka is flooding my system. I don't have a drinking problem. I got a subtle addiction. I got my father's habits and I got my mother's permission. My dad has another child. I told him that wasn't my sister. Grew up with dozens of Jews, churches with dozens of Christians. Also developed a deep respect for the Muslim religion. I'm staring at my daddy while y'all tell me I wasn't that nigga. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. This is far.
I'm not gonna lie, as much as I love Drake, that last line kind of reminded me of that. Who's that guy? Who's that rapper? I didn't like that last line, right? That last line kind of made me cringe. I'm not gonna lie. I'm staring at my daddy as you guys saying I'm not that nigga. Who's that rapper, man? The mixed race one. He always talks about being biracial. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of him. I didn't like that last line, but overall, I did like it. The only other parts of it that I don't like about the bar, about the freestyle, is the section where he kind of keeps talking about everybody like gassing up Kendrick and he pulled a rabbit out of a hat. Now you're all excited. Like he won, innit? He won. Drake did well. We didn't expect him to do that well. I don't think so. I didn't really anyway, because I know how much of a beast Kendrick is. But Drake did well, but Kendrick won. It's okay, he won. And Drake only has himself to blame in a bit as well, because he kind of waved the white flag. He could have kept going, but he didn't. He kind of pulled out. You can't pull out. You can't sort of start something. I didn't get it. You can't sort of start something, semi-start, because they both started it, right? You can't engage in something, lose, and then take your ball home. And then say, oh yeah, I don't know why you're gassing it. I didn't lose that much. But you lost, didn't it? That's why you went home. So I would rather he just like compete like that properly. But I guess he's probably got other things to worry about because of this lawsuit. I'd imagine. My theory is that maybe that lawsuit played a role in this whole thing. Because if he would have kept releasing songs, that would have then maybe hampered the lawsuit. Because I don't think since the lawsuits happened, I don't think he has released an official song, has he? Like even that P&D album is delayed because of that lawsuit. So I think that might be the reason why he kind of pulled out. Maybe part of it. Again, who knows? But I don't like this assumption that people are just making more out of it. It's like, look, you engage with this guy. He reminded everybody why, because I think a lot of people, even people that aren't big fans of Kendrick, were reminded of just how much of a lyrical demon he is when he engaged in this beef with Drake. Like, oh my God, every one of his lyrics just sounded a little bit more like punchy. They sounded like they hurt more. They came away from like a place of actual hate, which I think gave it a little bit more of a fucking venom behind it and shit. And maybe Drake probably didn't care as much. He probably should have. That's the problem. He probably should have started caring as much as Kendrick did, because he was really going for his fucking jugular and really trying to take his head off. But I still think he did good because I think most people didn't expect them to go like that, you know, toe to toe, kind of, especially for the early times, but the early couple of dubs and shit. After that, it kind of got a bit one sided because Kendrick was obviously, you know, putting out more of the flipping replies and whatever maybe. But like I said, the concerning thing is that nobody was having this conversation about LeBron before Drake said what he said. Now, I'm okay with him saying he's hurt. He has hurt feelings and his heart is broken because he's one of his best friends who he thought was his brother and not just a celebrity friend, kind of betrayed him because he was dancing at that fucking Kendrick concert. I'm okay with that. The only thing that I didn't like was this little assertion, this little slip in there that LeBron James's image is perfect in public, but he gets up to nonsense behind the scenes. I don't like that. I get that you don't like him at the moment and he pissed you off and he disappointed you because that's your friend, but having to like then dry snitching on him, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that in the slightest. I don't like that. I feel like that should only, like, if you're friends with somebody and you fall out, that should be one of the last things that comes up. Yes, you could have a back and forth where you start saying some shit to each other, start cussing each other out and shit. But the last thing that should come out is stuff like that. Like, if that's your best friend, and you've done some real dirt with together, that's the last thing that should come out about, like, oh yeah, well, everyone doesn't know what you did in Las Vegas in 2001. No. You should keep that. You know, that shouldn't come out. That shouldn't be the first thing you go to. You're allowed to be disappointed that that person, you know, you thought was your friend isn't your friend because of what they did, and you feel let down. Cool. But mentioning their marriage, or not mentioning his image, which people automatically associate with the marriage because, you know, he's this clean cut guy, is not good. And why do I say it's not good? Because you get dorks and absolute lames, and somebody who, even though I'm a fan of his streams, I can just say, like, now I understand why Drake keeps an arm distance with fucking Akademiks, because this one tune has now led to Akademiks crashing out on LeBron James. And look at what he said about LeBron James in his recent stream. Absolutely crazy. And this is basically Drake's fault. Like, let's be honest, this is fucking Drake's fault.
For LeBron. Yo, LeBron, I talked to enough whores in Canada. I've talked to enough people. Maybe Drake will keep teasing it. Let me just tell you what I've heard. Yo, LeBron, you and Drake used to go on two-mans. Okay? You've been cheating on your goddamn wife. Drake used to facilitate the host. And basically, essentially, you can't dance to a song about him being a pedophile. He used to supply you with the bitches.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Now, I'm hoping for all hope that this isn't a consequence of Drake putting a battery in Akademiks' back behind the scenes and telling him, yeah, go after him. Hoping that's not the case. I'm hoping this is just Drake, Akademiks, being a really enthusiastic fan of Drake and trying to, like, reassociate or reattach or reaffirm his loyalty to him or something. Because this is nasty. This is absolutely nasty behavior. Akademiks and LeBron James have no issue. The issue is between Drake and LeBron James. We don't even know what the issue is. We don't even know what it is. We're just assuming. I'm just using basic levels of deduction and putting two and two together or whatever, right? We don't even know what the issue is. Maybe there is an issue. Who fucking knows? But from what it seems pretty obvious why Drake would be upset with LeBron James for this Kendrick thing. What's that have to do with Akademiks? Why is Akademiks now going on stream essentially saying, without, you know, being 100% confirming it, yeah, he definitely cheats on his wife. He always has done. Drake was the one helping him. And also, he weirdly, didn't he say something kind of PDF-y there? He was like, you can't dance to no song by Kendrick calling Drake a PDF. It almost makes it seem like he's trying to say, because you and LeBron, you and Drake were both fucking girls underage. Doesn't sound like that. Or am I bugging out? Doesn't it kind of sound like he said that? Let me rewind it again. It kind of sounds like he said that you can't dance to no PDF bars because you were smashing underage girls with Drake. What?
Slash for LeBron. Yo, LeBron, I talked to enough whores in Canada. I've talked to enough people. Maybe Drake will keep teasing it. Let me just tell you what I've heard. Yo, LeBron, you and Drake used to go on two-mans. Okay? You've been cheating on your goddamn wife. Drake used to facilitate the host. And basically, essentially, you can't dance to a song about him being a pedophile. He used to supply you with the bitches.
You see what I mean? I know he doesn't mean that, but it does sound like he's saying that LeBron is a pedophile. It's like, why are you saying this? But this has all come about because of Drake. Drake's hurt feelings that LeBron James didn't stand, didn't stand 10 toes down with him, or for the very least, I'd imagine, just didn't keep himself out of it. I'm still very unsure why LeBron got involved anyway. I'm not gonna lie. Like with the whole, I'm not gonna lie. I still don't understand it. Was he a big Kendrick fan before? Like, it's such a weird thing to do. But maybe he did that because he didn't want to be friends with Drake anymore anyway. Like, fuck it, let me just burn the boats. Fuck it. I'm surprised why he did that. Or maybe it's an LA Lakers thing. I don't know. Whatever. Or maybe just likes music. He's a fan of music. He's like, look, I'm just taking part in this because it's a cultural music thing. It's not a big deal. It's just business. But Drake, obviously, maybe that's the case. Maybe he didn't see it as a big deal because it was a cultural thing happening, and he just did it because everyone else was dancing to the song as well. He didn't see it as a big deal, but obviously Drake did, and he was aware that it was a big deal when he tried to reach out to Drake personally. Because I think Mo said on the New Royal Moore podcast that LeBron tried to reach out to Drake, and Drake basically gave him the cold shoulder or ignored these calls. That might be the reason. But regardless, look at that kind of inability to kind of regulate your emotions and just say, because Drake could have easily said, hey, you made me feel sad because you didn't stand by me, whatever lyrics, right? And left it there. Without kind of mentioning this perfect image thing. People make the connection that he's married and people think that he's got a perfect relationship and he doesn't cheat, when actually he is. Nonsense. Now we've got Akademiks jumping out the window and saying way too much and messing up the whole shebang. And now we can kind of understand why people like Drake keep Akademiks at arm's length. Because if you keep him close, look what the sticking's gonna. Even if you keep him at arm's length, look how much damage he can do.
I'm sorry, my nigga. Yes, if I'm Drake, I snitch on you too. Sorry, buddy. You can't do that. No. You've been living a lie, and everybody been thinking you're this perfect guy, but when you come to Canada, I know some of the whores. When you come to Canada, you know.
Is he talking about Chromaz? I feel like he's talking about Chromaz. When he says I know the whores, I think he's talking about Chromaz. And I also think this is probably why Joe and Akademiks get on. I think part of this Akademiks rant, because his life is such in chaos, right? He's got that girl that he's with, Shay Glizzy, who essentially runs his pockets, steals money from him, allegedly hit his mum, allegedly slammed the door on his mum's hand, smashed an egg on his face, threw a can on his face when he was streaming, incredibly, leaked those pictures of him with bumps all over his belly, accused him of heinous things, and he's still with her, right? That Shay Glizzy girl. And he just can't seem to let go of her. And obviously he dealt with Selena Powell in the past. And his fans don't like it too much. And they always call out his hypocrisy for like laughing and criticizing celebrities and what they do. And his relationship is a mess. I feel like him is similar to Joe Budden in that because his personal life is a mess, I feel like he gets a lot of satisfaction out of seeing people who the public think are perfect going through messy shit too. It almost gives him validation. Like, see, everyone does this. We're all like this. No, it kind of makes him feel better about his situation. Because Joe Budden does the same thing. When somebody seemingly perfect goes through a troubling public something, he gets a lot of glee. It kind of makes him really happy when it happens, because he's now not looked at as the only messy one. Because in his head he thinks, oh, all these celebrities are messy. I'm just not good at keeping it out of the headlines, and they are. So I think this is probably why he's going so hard at LeBron at this. But still, it's so unnecessary. It's so excessive, and it's just, again, a symptom, unfortunately, of Drake saying what he said has now led to this situation. It's absolutely crazy, man.
Oh, you come to certain places. I'm supplying you with the white women you love. You don't even like black chicks. White women. I'm the guy. So when I bring the tings, and I'm hooking you up, when Kendrick drops a song saying certified lover boy, certified pedo, you're the first one to say, whoa. Me and Drake done did some two-mans. He ain't never bring no underage girl. What the fuck is you talking about? Or how about you shut the fuck up and don't dance, don't crip walk, don't do nothing, and how about you go win some championships? I'm sorry. I'm snitching on you. That's why you in trouble, LeBron.
No wonder he's friends with 6ix9ine, isn't it? Like, what is the point of this? Like, what is the point of this? Truly, what's the point of this? He makes it so hard to root for him, innit? He makes it so hard to root for him, man. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Like, what is the point of this? Why? Why is this necessary?
You can't dance to a song about me being a pedophile when we went on 2 mans. That's why you're getting dissed on these random songs. There's like five tings in Toronto ready to shout your business up now, bro. Like LeBron, nobody told you if you're secretly cheating on your wife, stay out the way. And don't dance at your man who been helping you cheat, calling him a pedophile. Get out the way, LeBron. What are you doing?
I don't know. Nothing more to say there, innit? Nothing more to say there apart from what an absolute shit show. An unnecessary situation again. And just I don't know. I just don't know what to say. I don't understand why he did this. I don't understand why he's doing this. I'm hoping that this is not a situation where Drake put the batter in his back and told him, hey, go get him. And him, like a good Drake attack dog, is now attacking LeBron. I'm hoping it's just a case of him just having some sort of satisfaction in that other people who are seemingly perfect on the outside do as much dirt as he does. So he's kind of, loving it in that sort of sense. But this is so fucking unhinged, so unnecessary, so lame, so bitch made, really, to be honest. It's just leaking of estrogen. It's completely disgusting. It's bad enough dirty macking, right? And dirty macking is like talking down on another dude who, a girl that you're trying to fuck is fucking type of thing, right? You know what dirty macking is? This is worse than dirty macking. You don't even know who this guy is, and you're snitching on what he does allegedly on the low. Because dirty macking is one thing. It's bad still. But there's a reason why you're doing it, because you're trying to get some cheeks. And there's a guy in the way. So you're dirty macking, which is horrible. You should always get cheeks based on your own ability to riz, your own ability to chat, your own ability to be that guy. You shouldn't be trying to put someone else down to get cheeks. Like, that's lame. That's never a win in my book, ever. But there's a reason why you're doing it, because you're trying to get to the end goal. In this regard, what's the end goal here? To be what? Closer to Drake? Drake's not going to be Drake's not going to be closest to you now that he knows you do this. Because he most likely didn't even find this out through Drake. That's the thing. Most likely, Akademiks didn't even find this out, if it's true, through Drake. I bet you he found this out through other people. Maybe even, it wouldn't surprise, it would surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me who he might have found this out from. Top 5. He was out in Jamaica with Top 5, right? So most likely Top 5 told him in person some things. And it wouldn't surprise me this is one thing he told Top 5. But Drake would now not want you to be around if this is how leaky you are with secondhand information. Sometimes in life, you might hear stuff about certain celebrities or certain people that you might hear secondhand, third hand, fourth hand, fifth hand. Keep it to yourself. It's none of your business. But if Akademiks is so giddy, so eager to say this about LeBron that might not be true or might be true, that he's probably heard from somebody else who isn't even involved, imagine what he might do if he heard something directly from the source. This is probably why Drake keeps him at arm's length. Keeps him at arm's fucking length. Doesn't appear on his streams, doesn't sit down with him at the desk, doesn't even go on loudspeaker, doesn't call in, zero. Because this guy he's just too volatile. He's too lame. He's too eager beaver. He's too excited. He's too fucking lame and excited, too estrogen filled, too dorky. I guess it's that common an analogy, as much as I like Akademiks, it's that common analogy of like, money can't unlame you, innit? Unfortunately. He was always this guy. He's just got money now. And success and fame. He was always this guy. You can't get that out of you. Like, if you were this person before money, you're going to be this person with money. It's going to be probably even worse now, because money's going to make you feel vindicated, But this is horrible, man. Absolutely horrible. I don't know what type of game this is. I don't know what situation this is, but this is absolutely disgusting. Disgusting with a capital D all around. And that's why I'm hoping to God, because I'm a big fan of Drake. I'm hoping this isn't a Drake situation where Drake's telling him, hey, go attack that guy. Hoping it's just him just being, a gossipy, chatty patty guy and just wanting to just be involved in the conversation. And he's now saying things that's going to put someone's marriage in jeopardy. Like, what? Like, fucking hell, man. Spoil businesses, break up a family. All right, Akademiks. All right, you got this, man. You got this. Anyway, let's move on. Megan Thee Stallion has been granted a restraining order against imprisoned Tory Lanez after 2020 shooting. This is a fucking crazy headline when you remember Tory Lanez is actually in prison. Tory Lanez is serving like, I think it's like a 10-year sentence or something in prison. Tory Lanez is actually in prison at the moment now. I guess not for the he's in prison for the shooting or for the gun. Wherever he's in prison for, it's linked to Megan Thee Stallion. And now she's been granted a restraining order of somebody that's in prison. I didn't even know that was even possible. Fucking wild. Let's read the article. Rapper Megan Thee Stallion has been granted a restraining order for imprisoned rapper Tory Lanez until 2030. Los Angeles judge granted the request to Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, for a protective order after she alleged Lanez has been harassing her from prison through surrogates. He is serving a 10-year sentence for shooting the hip-hop star in the foot and shouting at her to dance as she walked away from an SUV they drove and leaving an after party at Kylie Jenner's Hollywood home in 2020. You know what's funny? No one ever corroborated this, you know. I followed the case quite closely, and no one ever corroborated this dance bitch dance thing. That was never corroborated. Ever. No one ever corroborated it. And there were like 4 people there when it happened. The driver, the best friend, Tory. No one else was able to corroborate what happened there. That dance. So I was never understood why this has been added into the articles. Like, did that happen though? Megan Thee Stallion, 29, obtained a temporary order in November after allegedly, she's 29 now, you know. She's wasted a lot of her career on this case. A lot of her career has been centered around Tory Lanez, bro. 29 years old. Shit. Okay. Obtained after alleging Lanez, a Canadian rapper whose real name is Daystar Peterson, is using a third parties to continue to harass her online. Her petition says that a call logs at the California jail show that Lanez is coordinating attacks on her credibility, including making fake claims that the gun and bullet fragments in the case are missing. But they were missing one day, or not? A summary of the Thursday's hearing said that the judge found that Megan Thee Stallion's lawsuits had met the burden of proof to extend the temporary restraining order until the 9th of January 2030. Lanez's lawyer wrote in an objection to the restraining order that his client's incarceration means that there is no longer any form of current or future threat. The lawyer added that there has been no direct contact between the two recently. In November 2022, Lanez was convicted of 3 charges: assault with a semi-automatic firearm, having a loaded unregistered firearm in the vehicle, and discharging the firearm with gross negligence. So that's a weird thing. He was never actually convicted of shooting her, but he was convicted of shooting the gun. Weird, isn't it? You know, they still haven't figured out who shot her, whether she shot herself, whether the ricochet. No one ever knows. But they convicted him for the shooting, or for shooting the gun, while he's the felon, I guess. Megan Thee Stallion was already a major star at the time of the shooting. She won a Grammy for the Best New Artist in 2021, and she had #1 single with Savage and the guest with Cardi B's WAP. Lanez, 32, began releasing music in 2009. I'm not gonna lie, I am fucking bored of both of them. I'm bored. I'm absolutely bored. I'm over it. I don't fucking care. I really don't. So if she thinks she's better off with the restraining order, it makes her sleep well at night, cool. If she thinks this is going to get her career back up and running, cool. If he was doing too much, cool. Or whatever. I'm over it. I don't give a fuck. But I think in Megan Thee Stallion's case, this is really probably a bad look optics-wise, because I don't think, unfortunately for her, no matter what the evidence says, no matter if she's telling the truth or not, there's too many. There's more than a majority of people out there who think she's lying, and she's never going to change their minds. Let's say 50-50, and that's too much for somebody like her who's meant to be the victim of a really violent act like this. You should have most of the public on your side, but because the public, most of them are a bit skeptical on what happened. Basically, most of them also, and some of them will just flat out say they think she's lying, and she put innocent man in prison. This just makes her look even worse. Those people who think she put innocent man in prison, it makes her look even worse, because it's like, how much are you gonna, how much are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go? Like, when's enough is enough? You've already put this guy in prison. He's serving a 10-year sentence. He probably might have to do the whole 10 years now, because he got caught recording good music, and now he's done this. It probably might add more time to him. So he might do the full 10 bid. And here you are adding extra stress onto him by giving him a restraining order. It's unnecessary. But just from a purely artistry side of things, although this probably speaks to her mental state, maybe she's suffering behind the scenes, I do think in terms of artistry, this is a waste of time, man. All her time should be poured into putting all of this frustration and anger into her music and actually making music that people care about, because she's 29 now. She won a Grammy, probably, I think, undeserved, because I think she's like a 3 Grammy Award winner or something. It's like, Megan Thee Stallion doesn't deserve to have 3 Grammys. Come on, she doesn't make that good music. But still, she's talented for what she does. She's definitely got a good voice and shit. She definitely raps well. But her career is kind of stalled. And all people kind of remember is what? Twerking videos and Tory Lanez. Kind of, you associate with her. Even though she's got all these accolades, she's won all these awards, she's sold a bunch of records. I feel like all this is just, again, will forever tie her to Tory. Even though they're always going to be tied together, I feel like she should be making a concerted effort. It's almost like the Rihanna thing. When Rihanna got beat up by Chris Brown, I felt like one of the best things that she'd done was to kind of keep it in-house. She didn't really try to, like, because she could have easily buried Chris Brown's career, and she could have really used that beating as opportunity to kind of bolster herself. That domestic, you know, that thing that she suffered in the car. But she didn't. She kind of kept it, you know, whatever. And I think that helped in the long run, because it helped to divorce her from Chris Brown. Now you don't think of Chris Brown and Rihanna. You think of Rihanna as her own entity. You think of her as a fucking boss, Fenty, all the stuff that she's doing. You don't really think about the Chris Brown thing too much. You know, even though you still remember it, you don't attach her. But I feel like Megan has done a bad thing, because she's like, you keep attaching yourself to this guy. Reminding people, oh yeah, shit, the shooting. When you should be trying your best to divorce yourself in a situation and move on and use it as a springboard to kind of launch your career into the stratosphere. That's the problem. It's just too much Tory. Like, where's the music? Where's the good stuff? Where's the good albums? Where's this? Where's the experimenting, the evolution, the this, whatever? It's just. But again, maybe in her defense, maybe the reason why she's doing this is because she can't put out good music, because she's generally afraid that Tory might do something, or she's generally afraid that the things that he's doing are kind of fucking up her life. I don't know. Either way, I want it to end. I'm over it. We got this in 2025. We're still talking about this. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I don't care. I really don't care about either people. Tory, when he comes out, he puts out good music, I'll be listening. If she puts out good music, I'll be listening. But in part, when it comes to this stuff, I refuse to care. Like, they just got on my nerves. Both of them got on my nerves. I'm over it. I'm fucking over it. Mother of 14-year-old boy stabbed to death in London bus. Not surprised he was killed. When I saw this headline, obviously, my mouth kind of dropped to the floor. But then when I picked my mouth back up again, I thought to myself, you know what? Refreshing. Refreshing from the mother. Because one of the most annoying things that happens, especially here in London, when a young kid gets stabbed or something, especially when it's relating to gang violence, is always this weird false representations of what the child was like from their parents and their family. He was a good boy. He wouldn't hurt anybody. He was amazing. And then the fucking news will be posting up his Instagram, and it's full of him throwing up gang signs and looking, you know, not looking like the most flowery boy in the world, right? Looking a bit menacing. Then you hear stories about them on UK Drilled subreddit, and you're like, okay, cool. So this kid was definitely a stepper. He was definitely out here. He jumped off the porch, for lack of a better term. And, you know, he lived that life, and this is part and parcel of what comes with life. You end up dead or in prison. It is what it is. We know what the game is. So it's always a bit disingenuous when the parents come out and try and make it seem like the kid was a choir boy or something. He was just reading his book in the library, and some fucking gang members came up to him from behind and started stabbing him in the back like he's fucking Caesar. It doesn't happen like that. Usually there are some occasions where there's a mistaken identity, but most of the time, majority of the time, I would say, when kids like this or teenagers are involved in instances of knife crime or whatever, it's usually because they're also involved in that life. It just is what it is. It's not to say that their death isn't, you know, that their loss of their life isn't important or whatever, but let's just also not make it seem like people are just getting stabbed on the street randomly because they're just walking down the street. It doesn't happen that way. You definitely, because you're in that life in some respect. So let's read the article. It says here, mother of a 14-year-old boy who was stabbed to death on a bus in southeast London has said that she's not surprised. That's the boy that was stabbed. His name was Kellyan Bokassa. Aspiring rapper Kellyan Bokassa was stabbed to death on a bus in Woolwich Court, Church Street, close to Woolwich Ferry, just before 2:30 p.m. on a Tuesday. Jesus Christ, bro. They nanked him on a Tuesday afternoon. His mother, Mary Bokassa, that's what, you know, I guess when you catch the ops, isn't it? You got to do what you got to do. His mother, Mary, said that he had been groomed by gangs from the age of 6. Wow. She told the BBC her boy was caring but had experienced some real challenging times and had been taken into care for several years. Miss Bokassa said that he was underweight, very hungry, tattooed and exposed to drugs. He was in care and his mum's alive. Yeah, mum failed, man. Mum failed. Your kid's getting taken to care and you're actually alive. Yeah, you failed the kid. You failed him. Miss Bokassa said he was underweight, very hungry, tattooed, and exposed to drugs. But she added that they spent Christmas together and he had returned to school. They spent Christmas together, so they weren't really together then. She said that she had asked for help and tried to stop him from associating with gangs, but not received support from authorities. So he had one foot in the streets. You weren't even there as a mother. What's this woman talking about, bro? You went there as a mother, allegedly. It seems like you went there as a mother, so of course you weren't going to stop anything, huh? Miss Bokassa told the reporters that she was traumatized and shocked by her son's death, but was not surprised. I feel hurt because I tried to prevent it. All right. I've tried so many times. I screamed it. I said my son is going to be killed. Why did you let him get taken into care? Why did you have... What situation could have put him into care? Let's say she was just ill. Maybe she was ill. Let's give benefit of the doubt. Maybe she was actually ill. And if you don't have any family, all right, maybe that just happens, right? It's one of those kind of weird loopholes. If your mum gets, let's say, God forbid, your mum gets cancer, but there's no one else around, you have no aunties, no uncles, no one, then I guess you technically have to go to care, right? Maybe that's the case, but who knows? Around 40 mourners gathered at a vigil on Wednesday evening at St. Magdalene Church, which overlooks the bus stop where Keelan died. One of Keelan's friends paid tribute to him during the service, saying he's always there. He would always be there for you. Someone told he was a fun guy. He had pure heart, but he would always be there for you. He joked about Keelan eating bare food. Jesus. That's definitely a roadman fucking funeral, innit? Guys wearing trap star, they all got their hoods up. The guy giving the speech has got his hood up. That's definitely a fucking roadman funeral, innit? Look at that. That just looks pain. There's just all pain and misery there, innit? Everyone with their hoods up, trap star everywhere. Fucking hell, guys. Alright, anti-knife campaigner Farron Paul called for more support and opportunities affected by violence. Speaking of Keelan's loved ones, Mr. Paul said, if there's anybody in here from the local government, if there's anybody here from the council, from the government, really do try and make sure that you take time and give them long-term support. What can the government do to whatever. These guys are really young, and it's causing more long-term effects with other people getting involved, trying to get revenge. He said, youth violence is a vicious cycle. It's a vicious circle, sorry. Teen killed on the bus was wise. Let's play this clip. He was wise, okay? He wasn't wise enough to stop himself getting stabbed, was he? Let's play the clip.
He was just like a cool kid, do you know what I mean? Just like any other kid I met. He seemed a bit more, do you know what I mean, wiser for his age. And then, yeah, I was just speaking to him about his music career. He said he just started, he wanted to carry on doing music. So after the video came out, it was doing well, got about 4,000 views, which is good for an independent person, no promotion or nothing. So we thought, yeah, this is going somewhere, let's go again. So at the end of the month, we had something planned, but unfortunately this happened. People don't really care about the young ethnic minority in London. You know, they just see them on the streets with their trousers low or in groups, and they just walk past them. They say they're thugs. They don't care about them. Only when someone dies or they see a music video blow up, oh, London, da-da-da-da, Sadiq Khan, da-da-da-da, but...
You kind of got to care about yourself as well a little bit, don't you? You kind of got to care about yourself a little bit. If you see yourself going in a certain direction, you probably got to like pull away from the roads. It's probably impossible to pull away from that street anyway. There is no quitting, you know. Once you've been jumped in, you've been jumped in. It's basically that to the death. But if you do find an alternative route out through music, you probably have to try really hard to get yourself out of the streets and pursue your music career. You can't then start complaining to the government that they ain't gonna save you. They proved it to us during COVID. Didn't we all see during COVID that they, you know, they're not here to save us. They're not here to help us. They're here to get as much as they can for themselves, and we have to just figure it out for ourselves. So in this particular life, in that walk of life, you have to assume the government ain't going to step in and help you. Help you with what? What can they actually do? How can they stop you from going out with people who probably aren't going to be up to no good, who might get you in trouble? What can the government do with that? You know, it's a bit, I don't know. Let's have let's take a bit of responsibility for our actions, you know? And again, maybe he was set up to fail because from the age of 6, he was in care. His parents fucked him over, blah, 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 blah. But there comes a point where you also have to decide, you know? There comes a point where you also have to decide, but hey, what do I know? It says here, sometimes they give people opportunities to help people. They can change for their lives to meet other people and get them away from the environments. So unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't happen that way. Talking about drill music, he said he understands where some of the criticism comes from because a lot of violence is being said on these songs. But he said sometimes it just gives these kids something to do. They've never had someone give them praise for something they've done besides crime. Away from the gang, someone saying your music is sick makes them feel some type of way, gives them confidence, gives them opportunity to make them meet new people from the studios, open their eyes to new things. Even though they're rapping about certain things, through the eyes opening the world, so the perspective starts changing. I say it's giving a voice to the violence, to the voiceless. Yeah, I guess. But then there's others who just continue drilling so they can add more lyrics, you know? That's the problem. If you're just talking about your upbringing and where you're from and the facts of your surroundings, cool. But if you're continuing to do dirt so you can have more to say, you know, you kind of playing with fire there. Police have urged anyone with information about the stabbing to come forward. 10 teenagers were killed in London last year, according to the PA news agency. 9 of those were stabbed while 1 was shot. So yeah, the first person to die from a stabbing this year, I think, isn't it? This kid on the bus. So RIP to him, same way, RIP. But it was kind of refreshing to see the mother say it wasn't a surprise. But then when you read the article, you realize that the mother also let the kid go to care when he was 6 years old. And I just think, you know, that's unforgivable unless she was ill, you know, unforgivable. But RIP to him, RIP to Kaylin, same way, RIP to Kaylin, same way. Let's move on. This is pretty funny. Gavin Newsom is now saying this is not the time for. Let's stop the finger pointing, right? You all know about the California fires and shit, and everybody's now pointing fingers and leveling blame at people who are basically directly responsible for what happened. Because from what I can see, the reason why it's happening, apart from the arsons attack, is mostly due to negligence and basically government cuts, essentially. Cutting the spend on the fire brigade, closing some dams, cutting the funding for fire hydrants, employing certain people who maybe don't know what they're doing. It's a clear incompetence has led to what happened. People losing obviously the weather is a weather, but they could have avoided some of these things, curtailed some of the damage if the people in charge weren't as incompetent. And one of the main people being Gavin Newsom. So hearing him say this is not the time to finger point is hilarious because he's the main person people are finger pointing at.
No, it may be the absolute explanation, but there's so much mistrust and finger pointing. Let's just get the facts and let's get them out quickly. Let's stop the finger pointing. Let's just assess the truth. I'm not interested in who's to blame. I want to know what happened. No, it may be the absolute explanation, but there's so much mistrust and finger pointing. Let's just get the facts and let's get them out quickly. Let's stop the finger pointing. Let's just assess the truth. I'm not interested in who's to blame. I want to know what happened.
But you are to blame. You are to blame. That's the point. You and your administration, the mayor, the governor, the head of the fire chief, you're all to blame. You're all to fucking blame in some point. I find it fucking hilarious, especially when you see that he actually did. I forgot what the number is. I think Autism Capital has a post on it actually. There's actually a post where it says that he actually cut a certain amount of money. Like, look at this headline here. The LA water chief was paid $750,000 a year. Fucking hell. Absolutely crazy, right? So let's see the article here. This is courtesy of, look at that. Look at this video, courtesy of flipping, what's it called? Autism Capital. This is absolutely crazy. Look at that. Look at all the embers on the street. Look at all those fiery embers. Look at all the houses on fire. Look at that. It looks apocalyptic, doesn't it? It looks absolutely insane. This is America, you know. This is America, bro. Like, could you imagine? Probably one of the most expensive states in the country, if not the most. Real estate, high. And everything is just burned, charred. Look at that. Fucking wild. I can't imagine how much it's going to cost to clean all this shit up, you know. That's what I'm wondering. How much is it going to cost to clean all this shit up? Just to clean it up. It's gonna cost? I don't know. It must be billions, maybe. It must get into the billions. How much it's gonna cost to clean the shit up? Look at it. Cars charred, everything fucking burned, everything flipping on fire. Absolutely crazy. Let me scroll down and show you some of these posts on here. It's absolutely hilarious, by the way. California governor demands investigation to the fire hydrants. You can't make this not satire. Look at his headline. Watch this one. Where is it? Let me find it. Autism Capital posted it about him cutting funding for the fucking fire brigade. Look at this. This is an article from a while back, right? From New York Post. Gavin Newsom cut $100 million for fire prevention before deadly wildfires. $100 million was cut for fire prevention. Imagine in a place where fires always happen, you're cutting, like, it's just, I don't know. And again, to give him a little bit of grace, I think most states do this. I think most states around the world, or most places around the world, the first place they probably cut a lot of the funding is things like fire brigade, because, you know, those things don't happen as often. So they usually cut funding from there to allocate over here, move stuff shit around, right? Or maybe put stuff in their back pockets. I'm sure it happens all over the place. But I think if you're in California, you probably should be a little bit more wary of doing so. You probably should be wary about doing so. You probably should be. What? Did Dubois beat Anthony Joshua? Did that happen today? I see this trending now. What? Did I miss it? Was the fight today? Oh shit, I didn't know that. Daniel Dubois beat Anthony Joshua. Oh no, sorry. He's been awarded knockout of the year. Okay, I thought Daniel Dubois beat Anthony Joshua. He's been awarded knockout of the year. Okay, fifth round on Anthony Joshua. Okay, cool. He's been awarded it. Oh, for when he beat Anthony Joshua, right? Daniel Dubois round 5 knockout of Anthony Joshua has won the 2024. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, no worries. I thought he was about to fight. Anyway, let's go back to. So let me just see some of the stuff about California before we continue. Look at that, retardant. I didn't know that was the actual term for that sort of stuff. Plane drops fire retardant. Hilarious. Let's see what the headlines are so far. The summary cuts to the BBC. 4 wildfires are currently burning all around the USA. The largest of them is spreading east and now threatens the wealthy neighborhood of Brentwood, where now evacuation orders are being issued. At least 11 people have been killed. So it's up from, it was 5 and now it's 11. Oh no. I heard one tragic story about some older dude who died. Remember, I think we had talked about it before on another pod or another stream, where I think he was trying to fight the fires with a hose. And I guess, you know, he got overcome by the smoke and shit, and he died. And when the firefighters found him the next day, he was still holding onto the hose in his hand. Disaster has also led to more than 12,000 homes and other structures being destroyed since Tuesday. Senior officials and mayor and chief have defended their preparations in response to the fires. Life and death fight in LA goes on amid the infernos could grow. So more than 150,000 people have now been evacuated with strict curfews overnight in place. The largest of the wildfires, the Palisades, is spreading eastwards, triggering new evacuation orders in the wealthy Brentwood area. Official death toll is now 11. Evacuation zones have been extended till Saturday. Major public health emergency have been declared, with water in some areas has been contaminated and people warned not to swim in the ocean due to contamination of ash. Mexico has sent firefighters to aid the responses. Experts have been warned there could be several weeks before the giant infernos are fully contained. And major investigations to uncover the cause of the fires is underway, including into the possibility that arson was involved. So they're saying that it could have started because of arson and not because of global warming and shit, or because of the winds, or just in general. That is wild. If they're able to assess that and surmise that they found the cause, that would be fucking crazy if that's the case. Here's some pictures of the battles that they're having here. Firefighters from across the country as well as Canada and Mexico continue to battle the infernos. Also, firefighters from around the world are coming over to help. The fire changes course and evacuated areas become accessible once more. The scale of destruction is in some neighborhoods becoming clear. Volunteers have mobilized across the neighbor region to order to help tens of thousands of people. Aerial vehicles are being used to dump water or other substances on the fires, but some are not close to being contained. Yo. Frantic couple searching shelters for their cat. Okay, yeah. Your cat's charred, bro. Your cat's been turned into barbecue. Hundreds of animals rescued in Pasadena are people flee fires. The sound of barking fills the air as you approach the Pasadena Humane Society. They've taken in at least 450 animals of all sorts since the fires broke through in California. Cats, dogs, exotic animals, and horses. Yo, goats and pigs. Some people are fucking pieces of shit. I get you can't take your horses and shit, but if you got a dog and a cat, take that dog and cat with you, bro. That's your pet, no? That's your animal. Some people treat their pets like they're human beings. Take that pet with you. Leaving your pets behind, that is fucking disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Most of the animals are being looked after for their owners for free as they try to figure out the path forward. Some could be there for months. The loss of home you can rebuild. You can't rebuild a family if you lose a family member or pet. The initial wave of dogs came from people escaping the fires, but as animal rescue workers are allowed to search burned out communities, the injured are starting to arrive. We had a dog who was found in a burnt building who was thankfully still alive. He was in rough shape and had some burns. He tells me that they were able to reunite the dog with their owner, but their family's home is gone, so the dog will remain here receiving treatment until they can figure out what to do. Oh, look at the little doggies. Artists defy evacuation order to try and protect the community. Nestled in the Santa Monica Mountains just above the Pacific Ocean, Topanga Canyon is a beloved artist haven now surrounded by fire. Authorities in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas have urged people to heed mandatory evacuation orders warning of the likely fatal risk. But many Topanga residents have defied the orders, saying that they want to defend their homes and help each other. We are the renters. We are the artists, the musicians, the surfers, says Derek Mabra. Yo, Derek, man, take your fucking Winnebago, take your fucking guitar, right? Take your fucking straw hat and leave, please, before you get lit up like a match. I can barely afford to live in this neighborhood, but I would do anything to save it. How's you gonna save it? What are they trying to fight the fires or what? What are they doing? Or just standing around singing songs? What? Mabra started the Heat Hawks, a group of local volunteers. Heat Hawks. They even gave us only in LA. They even gave themselves a name. Only in LA. Let's give our group of helpers a name. Heat Hawks. A group of local volunteers dedicated to fighting small fires with hoses, spades, and saws. A carpenter by trade, he already had many of the tools. Another resident worked on film sets and showed up with 50 walkie-talkies to help everyone stay in touch. The local library of Topanga has working Wi-Fi, has become a hive of activity for volunteers. Oh, these people are such losers. The mood is somber. Smoke is getting darker and the winds have kicked up. Okay, I guess. To be fair, people are looting though. To be fair to them, people are looting and shit. So I understand why they're doing what they're doing. But at this moment, like, saving your possessions is one thing. Your home is the most important thing. If people steal your TV, let them steal it. Like, fuck it. Like, at this point, you want to save your fucking house. You know what I mean? Like, if you can save it, like, let's not worry about the fucking TVs. Palisades fire bears down on Brentwood. Of the 4 major fires burning across Los Angeles, the largest is a Palisades fire covering 22,000 acres. The fire expanding east, and authorities have responded by issuing a new evacuation orders. It is a quintessential upscale LA neighborhood with tree-lined streets, Italian eateries. It's also home to the world-famous Getty Center Museum. In Echo Madrigal Canyon communities, we heard a little earlier that nearly 4,000 personnel are trying to control the blaze. 11% of it is being contained. Fucking crazy, man. Fucking crazy. Oh, look at her. Of course she's there. What's Taylor Lorenz saying? TikTok a lifeline in LA days ahead of looming ban. The American journalist Taylor Lorenz has been speaking about the role TikTok has played in keeping people in LA up to date. Lorenz, who appeared on the BBC News channel from Dubai, she lives in Dubai now, yeah? Said that she'd been using it to stay abreast of the updates in her hometown. She said that the platform prioritizes showing users content which is produced locally to them, meaning it can become a lifeline, essential tool for people searching for tips and things to find donation points. Lorenz said that she expects okay, cool. Fuck Taylor Lorenz, man. What's this about? In pictures to fight. More firefighters responding. Helicopters are being deployed, water cannons with water to contain the growing fires. Thousands of firefighters are fighting it as well. Yeah, crazy, man. Crazy scenes. Look at that house being surrounded by the fucking fires. Inching in closer and closer. God almighty. Yeah. Okay, let's see how it plays out for them. Let's see how it plays out for them. Okay? Cool. Let's freaking go. So let me, where is this post? I wanted to see. Yeah, there we go. So this post has gone somewhat viral on my side of the internet, right? It's flipping hilarious. It features, what's his name? Ramper from Kinda Music playing somewhere. I don't know where this is, but wherever he's playing, he's surrounded by some of the most enthusiastic, energetic, eager, happy to be there fans I've ever seen of any DJ behind a DJ booth. This is pretty wild. Look at Ramper playing somewhere and getting absolutely mobbed. Not by men, by girls, which is weird, but super cool. Let's zoom in. Look at the smile on his face. Look at the smile on his face. Look at the smile on his face. You can't blame him, can you? Look at the smile. Now, the funny thing about this, right? The funny and sad thing about this is that if this was a dude, number one, this would never happen if this was dudes. If that whole line behind him was just dudes that look like me, or look like him, right? If that whole line of girls behind him look like this guy right here, that wouldn't happen, right? No, for lack of a poor example. If the line of guys behind him look like this guy, that guy here, and me, this would not happen. We'd already be kicked out of the club. But because they're all like hot European girls, right? Maybe they're like all under 25, fucking 10s, right? No one seems to give a shit. And everyone's allowing them to essentially impede his ability to play music because they're there to watch him perform, but they're not actually helping or letting him perform by impeding his ability to play on the DJ's booth. But they're obviously really excited to be there. And he doesn't seem to mind it too much. But it is kind of crappy to see because it shows a lack of common decency, right? It shows a lack of understanding how to behave at certain parties and shit. But I have to admit, they also bring it upon themselves, and I don't think they actually mind it. Kinda Music crew and a few other of these people, I don't think they actually mind being mobbed like this in the booth because this is part of their brand. Because I feel like Kinda Music and a few other people, they've kind of turned the DJ booth into an unofficial VIP booth. Let's be honest. They've changed it. You have to be honest. They have done it. They've done a really good job of making the DJ booth into its own VIP booth. So much so that some promoters are now selling tickets so you can stand behind the DJ, kind of look like you're in a DJ booth. Even though you're not really in a DJ booth, there's some promoters that will sell that space behind it. They'll have like a little platform and you can stand there. Some places will have like drinks available to buy and also whatever that you can kind of do. But it's kind of wild that this is becoming the norm. But I'm kind of here for it. I'm not going to lie. Because why I'm here for it for, because this kind of gives you an alternative. This kind of separates the different places that you can go in club. So you can go in club in places where you won't ever have any video footage of what you've done, of what you've seen, of what you've heard, because they cover your camera. You can go to some places where they encourage you to actually take pictures based on how they do the lightings, how they produce the whole set. They actually encourage you to video record because of how they have LEDs and smoke machines. It's actually an encouraged thing because it looks really good on social media. So I feel, and in some places you can't stand behind a DJ booth. There's no one allowed there unless you're playing. In some places you can go and trying to get behind there by hook or crook. It's part of the fun of going out. I don't mind it in the slightest. I really don't mind it in the slightest. I've just realized, by the way, in this video, these two girls have the same dress on but in different colors. So I guess these two girls must be friends. The one in white and the one in green. I think they both got the same dress on. I don't know why I know this, why I've noticed this, by the way. I should be probably looking at their fucking, young perky tits and shit. But I have noticed that they're both wearing the same dress, but in different colors. But look at how he looks at this guy here next to him. If all the people behind him look like this dude here in his linen shirt, I don't think he's behaving the same way. But because they're all, attractive young ladies, clearly he feels like he's in heaven. And there's probably a bunch of DJs in his DMs now telling him, well done, lad. Good on you. That are proper happy and wish it was him. Wish it was them behind the booth receiving that kind of love, because most DJs don't, most DJs fans, you'd imagine, are guys that look like me, right? Most DJs probably don't even have, female fans, let alone like, hot female fans. So when you do have them, you're just happy to have them around you. but it is kind of crazy to see this in real life, because I've seen this kind of trend happening over the last 10 years or so, and it's become more and more prevalent, especially here in the UK, of people really being like, you know, eager. I'm pretty sure there must be like a market for it. There must be like a little economy back in it. There must be a little, you know, a little kind of behind the scenes envelope thing of people selling wristbands for green rooms, selling wristbands to go in a DJ booth. It must exist. People must be making so much money now because everyone wants to appear like they're down, like they're involved, like they're in with the crew. Everyone wants to appear like that. They're not comfortable about raving on the dance floor. They want to be part of it. So that first to be seen, that person to be part of it, that desire to be, you know, to kind of be the main character, which is weird anyway, by the way. You go to a club, you go to watch a DJ perform, and you also want to be the main character. Aren't you going to see someone play? Aren't you going to lose yourself to dance, right? Aren't you going to lose yourself to some of the class A substances? You know, maybe suck someone's wee-wee in the flipping toilets. You're not really there to be the main character, you know? Even sucking someone's wee-wee, you're kind of being of service, you know? You're not actually the main character. So to go to a DJ booth and to try and be the main character to this extent, it's fucking insane. But like I said, the hypocrisy is hilarious, because I guarantee you, if I was in a DJ booth smiling like that, you know, with my jaw swinging from left to right, and I put my hand on the DJ's shoulder, I think I'd get arrested. I think I'd get arrested. If I was in a DJ booth and I did what this girl was doing right now, and I had my hand around the shoulder of a DJ, my jaw swinging from left to right, me sweating like I just did a fucking 10K with that fucking drug death stare, I would get arrested ASAP. Maybe I'd get a few punches in the back of the head from the security guards on the way out, but it would not end well for me. It would not end well for me. But I also don't look like that in the face, you know? I don't look like this in the face, so that's what happens. I understand. But I'm curious to see what some of the responses are from the people who saw this here. So let me see some of the responses, because, you know, DJ people are a bit like finicky and up their own ass. So let's see what they had to say about this particular video. This is a courtesy of Mr. After Party Instagram account, Mr.Afterparty. Big up them. It says, when the booth becomes the main stage for selfies. What are people saying here? Commercial music, commercial people. I don't think that's fair, because I think if you gave underground, if you put this in an underground setting, people do the same thing. People only behave in underground clubs because you're forced to behave, because they deem it to be a safe space, which doesn't exist. They have fucking rules about what you're meant to do. They cover your phone. They're very strict about bad behavior or chuck you out. People only behave. Don't get it twisted. People only behave in Berghain because Berghain have rules. If you break the rules, you don't go back in, and it's best club, you want to be in there. That's why you adhere to the rules. But if they didn't have rules in the same way, then people be doing the same thing to an underground DJ. Let's not try and make it seem like, oh, underground's better. No, they'll be doing the same thing. Let's relax. I would have politely told them, I need personal space. This gives me anxiety. That's a long sentence, isn't it? But also, you know, imagine if let's actually switch that. Big up Siri Music. Let's actually switch that. Let's imagine if it was a woman and dudes did this, because they're just fans, they love them. It would not end well. It would not even look well. Optics. People would be, the amount of op-eds people would be writing would be fucking crazy. If guys were in the booth going crazy and trying to fucking, you know, hug up on fucking, I don't know, on Sarah Landry and shit like this, it wouldn't work well. It wouldn't work out well for you. It really wouldn't work out well for you. Someone says here, that's embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. That girl with the phone makes me want to throw up so bad on her. Pray for the DJ. Where is security? Her facial expressions while awkwardly dancing made me want to stab my phone. Let her enjoy it, man. She's having a blast. Oh, how I miss the 2005 and 2010 era. He's giving off where's Wally vibes. Oh, okay, because he's got a hat that's got stripes on it. Like, shut up. Honestly. It's like people who say, he's the type of person who'd say, like, you know, if you told him your name's Robin, he'd be like, oh, where's Batman? It's like, go fuck yourself. Another person, no respect in a DJ booth. I think the best place for these people would be the dance floor. Oh, I thought he was about to say the best place for these people would be Auschwitz. I thought he was gonna go that far. I need a beanie like that. Música comercial para gente comercial. Wow, this person just took the guy's comment and put it in Spanish to get the likes. Yo, big up. Who's that? DJ, whoever you are, DJ Martinez, DJ Hanfrey Martinez. You just took one comment and written it in Spanish. Cool. I like it. I like the we're now plagiarizing Instagram comments for likes. Absolutely crazy. kind of music have now become the victims of their own success. This is very true, but I also think they wanted it. A lot of people say this, but I think they wanted it. I don't think this is by fault. I think they've always wanted to be famous, to be fair, to this level. But I think they do a good job of like, although they're like business techno, they still kind of have a little bit of, not as much as Innovision, but they still have a little bit of an underground edge to them. A little bit. Not that much, but a little bit. But if you go on a kind of music, I think subreddit and shit, you'll see a lot of fans who aren't that happy about how successful they become, because it's gotten a lot harder to get tickets. The crowd isn't as good anymore. That's a really sad thing, because I'm sure they all followed kind of music earlier on. The fans like I did early, being fans of Adam Paul, being fans of Rampa, being fans of and me, and I've got the other guy who was in the group as well that isn't that much seen anymore. But you're fans of these people to begin with. You kind of feel you find like a hidden gem, and then they blow up and become super famous, and now you're having to share these artists with the world, and now the world is just as much on them as you are on them. But now you've invited normies, or now the popularity invites normies and people who maybe aren't the best well behaved and shit, or just you just don't like their vibe, whatever it may be. It must be kind of hard as a fan, you know, because you were a fan of them when they first started, and now they just through you supporting them, they've also now become some of the biggest DJs in the world. But I can't really begrudge them for doing so, because I always got the feeling like they always wanted to be those people. I don't think they ever wanted to be underground. I think they always wanted to get as much as they can out of music, play as much as possible. Because there's one thing you don't hear from these guys, and give them credit. You don't hear any conversation about burnout. They love being famous. They love being touring DJs. They fucking love it. You don't ever hear Rampa and me or fucking Adam Paul ever complaining about touring, ever. They moan more about production on shows, but you never hear them moan about tours or that sort of shit. They love doing what they do, which I like, because I hate them moaning sometimes. Kids these days are out to show others they are having a great time. Embarrassing. Yeah, everyone does that though, and again, it's not a big deal that everyone does this. I don't know why people are getting the knickers or twist. We see this all the time at concerts, rap shows. Hey, it's the same thing. I don't know. I'm not gonna keep. Kids just they have to record. Just because someone when they're not recording, dance and don't look at the DJ. I don't know. It's not that deep. When you have to bite your tongue at how awful these people are because you remember that you created this awful scene and you are getting paid extremely well from it. I don't think the scene is awful though. This is just one segment of it. The whole scene isn't awful. I'm sure they play other parties where it's not this bad. This is just one segment of the fan base. It's just what it is. It's one party. It got a bit crazy. There wasn't any rule. There wasn't any barriers put between him and the fans and stuff. No distance between them. And by this time, because when it gets to this level, it's kind of hard to get people back, because now there's a bunch of people also in the back that are also pushing. So it's kind of hard to do it. So I'm not surprised it got this Larry, but I don't think it's a representation of the entire scene. I just think it's one party that got a little bit too out of hand or out of control. Stop the party, call the security, take enough space for them. No one's going to do that. No one's going to do that. If the party looks like it's jumping, they're probably selling more drinks than they've ever sold. They're not going to stop the music. Tell me to stop back. Like, use your common sense. Come on. Anybody got the ID for the song in the background? The girls are so embarrassing. The girl who made the video is hot. Oh, so that's the girl that made it. What's her name? Koratz. Is that her? Let's see. Actually, I'm too late anyway, because she's not responded. I'm too late. I want to see if she responded or said anything. Is your account private or she was just... Okay, it's public. Okay, is that her? Oh no, the person that made the video. I thought it's the one that's. I went the one that's taking the video. So she looks like she's a bit of a rave girl anyway, right? Yeah, looks like she goes to a lot of rave things. That's a kind of music event there, right? It looks like she showed anybody. Yes, looks like she's a rave person. A lot of these kids as well, I never know if they're just like kids of like rich parents, or if they actually work in the music industry, because you see a lot of these girls around the scene who like seem to travel everywhere, to every fucking hot location, seem to always be at all the best parties and stuff, and always as well behind the booth, which makes sense, innit? If you're a DJ, you probably want them behind the booth. You don't want people that look like me, but yeah, they seem to be always there. Look, there's another video of them dancing, looking hot at clubs and shit. Who's she blowing kisses to, by the way? Who's she blowing kisses to? You become your own little celebrity. I love that. You're like your own little celebrity in that kind of world. It's fucking hilarious, man. Where is my Serenina? Okay, I guess she's part of the crew. Because this is the other part of the kind of music fan base. Everyone has their phones out. this is also part of the culture, part of the scene, part of what the fans have cultivated. So either you get those people who are like really eager and all over them on the DJ booth, or you get fans who just stand there with their phones in their hands recording the whole set. I just think people enjoy things differently. It's not for me, don't get me wrong. I'd rather just be dancing. I can still go somewhere and have fun though. I think some people can't. Some people go to this place and it will kind of fuck up their mood, but I can still maybe find a little pocket where I can kind of dance, have a good time, and I'm not really focused on whatever people are recording. I'm just having a good time and enjoying myself. But this is also part of what they do in it, so it's not, you know, it wouldn't surprise me when I see it when I go there. Okay. So the same thing is happening here that happened at the previous party, but I guess they got better crowd control, so there's a bit more gap between them and the DJs, but you can still see like everybody's really up close to them in the booth. It's just what they do. I guess that other party just got a bit out of control, so it's not that big of a deal. I don't think so. When you consider everything they're part of. There's another kind of music clip here. Them at another kind of music event. So I guess she follows them around, innit? She probably must be part of the crew. Friends with them or something, or, you know, quote unquote friends. Yeah, because look at that. You see what I mean about that section? Look at that. Look at that. That's basically the VIP room, the VIP area. Like, this is what they've created. So there's no surprise that it got that Larry, because this is also part of what they do. This is where the DJs are there. And this whole area is a VIP area where they probably sell tickets to these places like for triple what there is on the ground floor. You know, that's just what they do everywhere they go. So people shouldn't be too surprised by what they see there. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. I think people are getting the knickers and the panties and the twist just for nothing, to be fair. This isn't representative of the entire scene. It's just a segment of it. I think if you like this sort of stuff, go. Enjoy yourself. Have a great time. If anything, these type of parties, you'll probably see way more if you like Instagram baddies or Instagram girls, you'll probably see a lot more girls that look like they wash their hair and like put on fucking, you know, conditioner and moisturize. If you want that type of thing, go. If you want a dude that's going to be wearing an AP, if a fake or real, might be driving a G-Wagon, go to their parties too. It's nice, isn't it, to mix up a bit. You don't always have to go to fucking underground shit. You can get dressed up a little bit, put on some fragrance, you know, and hang out with these type of people. Again, it might be wanky, but you know what you're walking into when you go. There's no one should ever be surprised by what they see at a kind of music festival or a kind of music crew party. You know, you've seen enough of them already. They're pretty well known. They're pretty famous. They've got tunes out with fucking Drake and shit. Like, you know, they're well known on the dance music scene. Probably some of the biggest DJs out there. They're always touring. You should know what you see when you go there. Like, this shouldn't be a surprise. People getting knickers and twists, you know, ranting and raving online. They're just doing it for attention and to kind of act like they're better than other people and shit and kind of prove how much underground they are. But it isn't that big of a deal, really. I don't think so. It is what it is. Let them rock. Let them rock, in my opinion. Let them rock. But again, what do I know? Absolutely nada. That's what I know. Absolutely nada. So, that's it for the show today. That's it, man. Thanks for tuning in. I think that's it for the show. That's it for the show, because I have to jet off and do a little bit of random show. So thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company, as per usual. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure to have your company. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for tuning in. If it's your first time listening to the show, please make sure that you smash the like button down below. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you want any connection to me, links can be found in the description down below. Press the links down below. That'd be greatly appreciated also. For those of you wondering, my tune of the day is from the none the other Latin Mafia, from the album Todos los Días Todo el Día, and the track is number 3, which is called Nunca he sido honesto. Nunca he sido honesto is my track of the day from the none other than Latin Mafia. Please check it out. It's fucking amazing. I've been banging that album as well. Another good one that I listened to last year for album of the year that I need to put in my list. But please do check it out. An amazing, phenomenal album. Really, really freaking good. And I really do implore you to check it out if you haven't before. That'll be playing under the sound of my voice for those of you listening to the audio pod. Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. It's been a pleasure, never a chore. I'll see you again very soon. Random show in a couple of minutes. Everybody else, peace.